I just want to add for everyone on this subject. I see everybody trying to think, they're trying to make their sexual projection out to be all innocent.
Yeah.
As if it's like some kind of innocent behaviour of a bystander, when it's actually almost a rape of another person, or a desire to sexually engage with another person at least. And most of the time it's about power.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is the addiction of sexual projection most of the time covers other addictions of wanting power and wanting control and wanting to abuse another person, wanting to make the other person feel lesser than yourself, or wanting to use them for your own sexual gratification. And there's quite a lot in there that we're missing out in all of this discussion, I feel, because most of us want to believe that we're nice and innocent, and actually we're nicer than that. That's what we'd like to believe. Now, of course, many of the spirits, by the time, once they pass, they don't care about how nice they look anymore, because they know they look terrible when they're in this. When a person sexually projects all the time, they're basically having sex with all sorts and sundry, which means that their soul condition is very, very low. And so when they pass in the spirit world, they look very ugly. So they don't care about how they look anymore. They just want the feeling. And so all they do is, like, it's all about the feeling then for them. And I feel that for a lot of us on earth, it's all about the feeling as well. It's all about the feeling. It's not that we've got some innocent emotion like Daddy didn't love me, so this is why I sexually project a lot of the times. There's plenty of people on earth whose daddies didn't love them and they don't sexually project.
Exactly.
So this is all about our abuse of sexual energy in order to have both sexual and other addictions met. And we need to be I feel a lot more firmer about the discussion. I know some people feel a bit embarrassed about it and they get a bit, laugh a bit about it, but in my opinion, it's such a huge issue. The sexual part of you is a huge issue, and when it's used out of control or out of harmony with the way God designed it to be, out of harmony with love, it does huge amounts of damage. Like 1/3 of the women on this planet generally are either abused or raped in the course of their lifetime. That's huge amounts of damage being done. And then if you add that to the spirit damage that's being done, and then there's the damage that's done intergender, back and forward between the genders, basically, and when you add that to the fact that all the sexual energy you absorb is like the part of the other person entering you. And when you give out sexual energy, you're entering the other person. And if you add all of that together, you start considering all of that. It's a huge issue that is not just about, but it is a lot about desire for sex, desire for sexual power, desire for sexual control, sexual rage, fear sexually. It's like, and all of those issues are all part of it. But we're not as innocent as we believe we are most of the time when it comes to doing it.
Yeah, and usually by the time we get to projecting it outwards, there is a lot of, that's an intentional thing, isn't it? Where we are saying, I want like power control, or I'm so angry at your gender, you don't mean that little to me, that
or even just simple, I want to rape you, but I'm not going to go and do it because I'll get put in jail. So what I'll do instead is do it energetically. That's often, or if you're a woman, I'd like to have sex with you, but of course I'm not going to do it, be the first one to do it. So I'm going to, first project out all of this stuff that you can do it for me and with me, so that I don't have to feel like I'm a bad girl when you want to have sex with me. And also sometimes if you're a woman, many times you want a guy to feel sexually interested in you just so that you can reject him. Just so that you can make him feel terrible about himself, even desiring you. And so there's a lot of very dark emotions involved in this addiction of sexual projection, and we need to be very much more honest about, our true desire to do it, rather than go, it's all something to do with some grief, related to some belief system from our childhood. It's not often the belief that's underneath. Remember, the addiction covers the belief. So for most of us, the sexual projection is an addiction. It's not the belief. Right?
Yes, definitely.
So the sexual addiction is a choice. It's a choice you made, and many of us made it very young. But we continue to make it as adults all the time. It's a choice we are making, to harm another person through our sexual energy. Yeah.
Thanks, babe. Thank you. Knife of truth. Yeah. Okay. Anything more on that? Sorry, who? No? No? Okay. Oh, Roberto, you did one. And then we'll go to Julie.
Yeah, so it's possible that we want to connect from an injury in the heart to another woman, and then want to connect sexually to another woman.
So you mean you want to have an emotional relationship with one woman and a sexual
if
relationship with
that's-
another?
Is that possible?
So I feel when we're in harmony with love in our heart, our sexuality is in harmony with that as well. That's what I feel. Like when I really love someone in a pure sense, I don't want to share my sexuality with anyone else. So my sexual projection is in harmony with the desire I have with that for that one person. But I don't really know, Roberto. I feel technically you could have an addictive desire for an emotional exchange with a woman and an addictive kind of desire for a sexual exchange with another woman. Is that what you mean? Is that...
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
that could be possible.
Yeah, well, I think for a lot of people, it's like going on all the time with lots of different people. But Jesus, you want to clarify, that'll be good, because I'm a bit...
Yeah, if most of us think about it, we actually have an addictive relationship generally with our parent, our opposite gender parent in particular, and we also have a sexual relationship with our partner. So in other words, we often project out our mother. If we're a guy, we project out our mother feelings like, I want you to look after me, I want you to tell me that I'm a nice guy, I want you, all these things, which there's sometimes partially sexual desires in amongst that as well. And then we want to have the sexual relationship with our wife, let's say. So that is a mixture of emotions and sexual things being projected all over because we want to avoid different emotions. So it's possible to actually have sexual exchanges with hundreds of different people while you have an emotional connection with one. But it doesn't mean, as Mary's pointed out, that it's actually pure. When it's pure, the only relationship you will desire sexually or emotionally, other than God, will be your soulmate. You won't even desire your parents anymore. You won't even desire your children anymore. Like when I say desire, you want to love them, but you won't desire the relationship to be in place as the one and only relationship. But so I see a lot of parents making their son, like many women, making their son the ideal man. And so that's a sexual projection at their son. I see many men making their daughter the ideal woman, so sexually projecting at their daughters. I see many people not even sexually, they enter a relationship with their partner because of security, and then they sexually project at other people. But then partners meeting their security needs. So the reality is we can have almost any combination of relationships that there is, no matter what the situation. We can have almost any combination of relationships, all because we're unwilling to purify the love and particularly purify the sexual part of our love. The sexual part of our love, the way God designed it to be, was that it would only be for your soulmate. That's it. So if you've got an emotional relationship with someone and a sexual relationship with someone else, you've got a problem in both of those relationships if they're both projected at the opposite gender, because the only full, complete relationship you need is the relationship with your soulmate, because that's the other half of you. Of course you're going to have it sooner or later. And the reality is the majority of us avoid those kind of feelings because what if our soulmate's fat? Or what if our soulmate's bald? Or what if our soulmate's old and we're younger? And what if our soulmate's young and we're older? And we've got all sorts of issues about all these different things that we've got to work through to get to the point of some purity with regard to, I only want to have a sexual relationship with the other half of myself. That's it. I don't want to have a relationship with anybody else. And I even would only want to have a fully fledged, deep emotional relationship with the other half of myself.
Yeah.
And if I need it with somebody else, that tells me that I'm just avoiding some other addiction. So whether it's an emotional addiction or a sexual one, it's still an addiction and it still needs to be addressed.
I notice some women try to have a soulmate relationship bar the sexual element with their friends who are women. Like a lot of women feel like, oh, I can't talk to my husband or my partner, but I have my girlfriends and we get together and we have this. I can share emotionally, we talk about things, I can think about ideas with them, share my dreams with them and my frustrations with them and all of these things. And really what they want in their best friend is, it's really what belongs in a soulmate relationship. And then they just have sex and babies with their husband. I've seen that a lot. And it probably happens for men too, hey, where they go with their mates fishing or whatever and they kind of have this business or codependent relationship with their wife, but really the biggest part of their heart is open when they're with their mates or we call it mates in Australia, their guy friends, yeah. Yeah.